Everybody, it's a Muffin, and I just wanted to talk about the new patch that Diablo released like 2 days ago. I think it was over 2 days, so yesterday and then the day before that. Well, in case you didn't know, this is the new patch, and this addressed a lot of things that players were kind of talking about. The main ones I want to talk about, in just case you haven't seen it before, was this one right here, major experience rewards. They buffed all in-game experience, which felt very good. If you don't know why this is like really important, the race to world first, when the game first came out, was run doing normal dungeons, the ones that you play at the beginning of the game. It was very clear from the design of the game that they want you to run nightmare dungeons. That's the whole point of the end game. Well, people weren't running them because it just was inefficient, and so instead of buffing nightmare dungeons, they nerfed normal dungeons, and so it just kind of made everything feel very slow, very rough. And since there's not that much to do once you hit like level 100 or even at level 90 or whatever, it doesn't feel like you're chasing anything. The only thing that you really have to chase is level 100. You could do Uber Lilith, but that's still super hard for, especially if you're more like a softcore player or you're not like really smart and know how to do all the numbers very well, which is, let's be honest, most of us. So them buffing experience is huge because it's made the grind feel so much better. For me and a lot of people I've been playing around, we almost stopped playing right around level 90 because it just didn't feel good at all. My friend Dylan, I would stream with, he's like, yeah, it feels like it takes me 4 to 5 hours to level. Now, he wasn't playing maximum efficiency, but even I, who was like 3 to 4 hours. It felt miserable. Well, they significantly buffed all damage. It feels so much better now. Like, it says significantly right here. I feel like I was getting about probably 800,000 experience every nightmare dungeon prior to this. Now I'm getting 2.1 million. So that's more, that's like 2.5 times. It feels so good. Now I'm waiting for Blizzard to be like, psych everyone, we didn't actually change the numbers at all. Y'all just didn't try nightmare dungeons, and now they just, I swear, like I feel like I'm crazy how good it feels right now. Like it can't be real almost. Yeah, being endgame feels very good, and it probably took me about another 9-10 hours of playing to go from level 90 to 100, which, if you ask me, is exactly how long it should take. I think a level an hour feels very good because that's, say you're like a kind of a normal player. I obviously play a lot more than most people, but if you're playing, like, if you sit down for a night, you want to get 1-2 levels in if you actually dedicate yourself to playing. So a casual player sits down for 2 hours, gets about a level and a half at level 90, and I feel like that's good progression, especially because that's 5-6 Paragon points, which can do a lot of damage to your board or add a lot to your like a key node or a key passive to your build. I generally think they buffed Nightmare Dungeons, the monsters in dungeons, and completing it. They buffed Hell Tides. They buffed all of the experience from all of these is really good, as well as this one thing inside of a dungeon, like an event, wasn't giving experience at all, but now it is. Another thing is they changed a lot of things that people were asking for. The Helltide bosses that roam around now drop better loot. The caches that you get from world bosses now do not have a level requirement, which was cool because if you were on World Tier 4 and you killed a world boss, it was level 80 locked, the little thing that you get from it. So if you were on level 80, you just had to have this thing locked in your inventory, which just kind of sucked. As well as, this is the key one, players can now teleport to their nightmare dungeon directly through the map. I will admit, I released a video recently talking about how I think that they shouldn't do this and that they should just make a nightmare dungeon craftable that you can put onto a dungeon, so we would still have to walk to the dungeon, but at least you only had to do it once. You would go to a dungeon that you want to do, and then you just do it over and over again. I massively like this change. I think mine, while it gives more opportunity for stuff in the future for them to add, I think that this was very much needed and helped the current state of the game massively. Do I think that they should keep it and remove it so that they can do mine later? No. I think that they should keep this. A lot of people are going to get used to it, and I think it just feels good. And I think also people just feel very glad that it feels like Blizzard is listening to them. That's the big thing that I've seen a lot, is people going, Blizzard finally listened to us, and I think that means that this patch was massive. I have seen myself, my friend Dylan, and Wes, another person I've been playing with on high level, he's like 95, all came back to our characters in order to play, just because now we actually feel like hitting level 100 is possible. It didn't feel like I have to play 12 hours a day for a week and a half in order to hit level 100, especially since most people are solo or have 1 or 2 friends. We're not doing the 3 people leveling insane strat that a lot of people are doing, or the full party. Another thing that they've been doing is this is another change that I think is actually really cool. They are trying to make the resource generators for every class feel better. I don't know how that's going to work in the long run because it's not supposed to change the relationship of your abilities. I play Barbarian mostly, so Lunging Strike is normally an ability that you'll attack. It gains you Fury, and then you use Fury to like use your core skills. Normally it's like Whirlwind or Hammer of the Ancients. And the main thing is that for Barbarian, especially melee, it feels Barbarian's almost entirely melee. It feels very bad to have to sit here and use a bad weapon or a bad attack in order to then charge up your good one. Why can't we just use good ones? Now, we're still supposed to be using the charge abilities until you're like really late game and you get like resource generation on rings and stuff like that, or you have all your shouts up, but they're kind of buffing it a little bit. 9 to 10 Fury generation every auto, as well as 30 to 33% damage. It's a bit of a damage buff. Sure, I get it. This is only going to really affect people that are like level 70 and lower. So like that's the first half of their time with a character. So this is going to be a huge impact, especially if these are a little bit better. We'll see how it goes. 9 to 10. It's a 10% increase, but it's not huge. For reference, 1 second of Whirlwind, I believe, takes 50 Fury. So, I mean, this is like an extra for every 5 attacks. It's an extra, like, a fifth of a second. I'm not even doing a tenth of a second. So, I mean, it's a buff. It's a buff. It also does more damage. And I think it's like this for most classes. More generation as well as more damage. So Druid's been buffed a little bit. Druid was another one that has had it kind of roughed. Base damage increased as well as... okay, so it doesn't look like they did the same thing for Necromancer. I'm pretty sure Necromancer's fine. Rogue and Sorcerer... Okay, yeah, they all don't have the issue, so I'm glad that they did decide to try and buff it for Barbarian and Druid, make them feel a little bit better in the early game. But yeah, basically... They listened to their players, and now I've been able to hit level 100 on my Barbarian, and I can actually feel good about trying to level all these other characters. Right now, what I've been doing, because it feels like the best endgame, is I've been trying to learn how to speedrun the campaign. I'm sorry there was nothing else to do, but I thought speedrunning the campaign seemed kind of interesting. I'm not good at it. I die to the weird snake boss in Act 5? Every time. I haven't been able to make it pass. And it's also been, hopefully these changes will be able to make leveling on my alternate characters feel a little bit better. So we'll see how that goes. For the most part, I'm just going to be kind of messing around, probably playing all these other classes until until Season 1 comes out. But I'm really glad that Blizzard decided to make some changes that are definitely helping the game, definitely making people come back. And yeah, I personally was going to make a big review on the game, talk about how I feel about it, but I wanted to 1, hit level 100, and 2, once I heard the big patch that was supposed to address a lot of our issues is coming out, I wanted to wait. So I'll probably be working on that really soon, maybe in the next couple of days, and you'll see that my full thoughts on the game, the end game, and then probably some stuff about how it can move forward in the future. So if you like the patch, or if you've been feeling better ever since this new patch on the 27th, I believe it was, please feel free to let me know how you've been dealing with it, how you feel, if it's been helping you out. Maybe you came back because you weren't feeling very good about Diablo after you hit like level 80, as I feel like when a lot of people are leaving, especially if you're not content creators. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you leave a like on the video, I'd really appreciate it. And as always, I've been Muffin. You guys have been amazing. I'll see you next time. Peace.